In this episode, I use a fake London backdrop, a real London backdrop, and then I go and photograph Piccadilly Circus at night. Just arrived at London Gatwick Airport and just flew in from Stockholm as well. So this whole week I've been working extremely long hours. I haven't left the office once before midnight, so very exhausted. But I took a look at the weather report regardless, and weather in London is looking amazing today. Looked good from the plane as well, so I'm gonna go home, rest up a bit, and hopefully later catch up with some people, grab the camera, head out into London, and hopefully there'll be a good sunset on the cards as well. So stay tuned and let's see what happens. So it's a few hours later now and we're back. So I spent the whole day resting because, like I said earlier in the video, I'm feeling pretty shattered, and that's not 100% gone yet, but a couple of my friends reached out and they said, Philip, do you want to come out and catch the sunset? So that's also not an opportunity I want to miss out on. Always get to be social, and yeah, plus I'm kind of addicted to sunsets anyway, so win-win I guess, and here we are. Gear with me, and let's go make this happen. So the rooftop I had in mind was the rooftop St. James, which overlooks Trafalgar Square. It's really beautiful, and it's not super hyped either, so a little bit more of a unique viewpoint, and it's a cool bar anyway, and really excited to go there. So this specific bar I had been to before in one of my previous vlogs, one of the first I've ever made actually, and looking back at it now, I'm not super happy with the quality of the video, and actually I think that's a really great thing, because I think that shows that I've grown a lot and learned a lot more about how to make videos, and that's what this journey is all about for me, and I hope it's similar for you. You start off photography, and you should always go look back at your previous photos to see how far you've come, and see what you've learned and what you do differently now, and see how your style develops. So it's a very exciting journey, and definitely something I encourage everybody to take a part of. And right up there is the rooftop bar we're headed to. Can't wait. Good evening, Ben. What's happening?
Stop vlogging.
The rooftop St. James is a very upmarket bar. It has an incredible ambiance. The sunset was behind us, which made for subtle, pastel-colored skies and backlit images. Two compositions here really stood out for me. Firstly, the London Eye, towering behind the rooftops of Whitehall in the foreground, just made for an incredible cityscape with some fine details. And then there was the obvious, of course. Trafalgar Square, from above, is just a sight to behold. Being on eye level with Lord Nelson on his rather not so subtle pedestal is not something you get to experience every day. So we finished shooting at the rooftop, which isn't the best place to vlog because it's very private and people having intimate conversations, so I felt it wasn't appropriate to speak to the camera. So just got a bit of B-roll instead and showed you my photos, which turned out pretty good in my opinion. But now sun's firmly set, we're in the middle of the night and we've moved on. So we made it to Piccadilly Circus, and this is our next composition. So this is a very difficult place to photograph, in the middle of the night especially. And I'll talk you through why it's so difficult and how you overcome that to get the perfect shot anyway. The reason why this place is so extremely difficult to photograph at night is because the foreground's extremely dark, and then you've got this very bright illuminated screen. So just looking at this, the way this camera's capturing it, these highlights are completely blown out while you're retaining the detail in the foreground. So no camera's strong enough with its dynamic range to capture both the screen and the foreground properly exposed. So how you overcome that is by shooting them separately. So first I did a long exposure just to take care of this foreground, 11 seconds, I think. It was at f11. Kept the aperture the same and the composition the same, which is why my camera's on a tripod. And then I started shooting the adverts. So tried to pick out a few that I liked. The Coca-Cola one looks really amazing up here, as well as some blue from the Gillette and Hyundai that come through eventually. And then afterwards in Photoshop, I'm gonna puzzle all the individual adverts together with the foreground and make the final image. Choice of lens is the 18mm wide angle lens. Reason being, I want to capture this whole scene with the foreground as well as the screen, of course. And I love these classic buildings back here, so I wanted those to form part of the composition as well. So without further ado, here's the final result. Much faster shutter speed, so 1/8 of a second in that case, just to expose them correctly. And then aperture is important to keep the same, to keep the depth of field the same for the long exposure and the adverts. And then afterwards in Photoshop, once you combine them all, you should have the entire scene perfectly exposed and the whole picture looks a lot more balanced. So yeah, that's the full explanation. Kind of got caught up in the heat of the moment and didn't add that part, but yeah, I feel it's quite important. So actually busy walking home now, done shooting for today, and I thought I'd end this vlog as well. So good night to you guys as well. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, be sure to like and comment. And if you aren't already, please subscribe. And I hope to see you in the next episode. Good night for now.